How many times have you found yourself struggling to pay attention while the speaker spends most of the time talking to their visual aids? They give you permission to do anything but listen to them. I've asked my audiences many times, what drives you crazy when you're a participant observing the speaker interact with their visual aids? Their responses include some of the following. When the speaker reads to me page by page from their handout or word for word from their PowerPoint slides. When the speaker is boring and talks to their visual aids like a handout, technical gadget, or PowerPoint deck. Your visual aids are not your notes. Instead, they should add impact and emphasis to your message, increasing what your listeners remember and how long they retain it. Many speakers have fallen into the trap of reading their visual aids, believing that they will lose their listeners' attention or they'll jump ahead if they don't. Talking to your visual aids instead of your audience invites your listeners to disconnect and disengage. You're guaranteed to lose any chance of influencing them to take action. Think about this from your listener's perspective. When they don't know where to focus, they get frustrated and often turn to their email instead of connecting to you and your message. They cannot focus on 3 elements at once. The key is to create balance between you, your message, and the visual aid. For your listeners to get the most out of your message and act on your recommendations, follow these 5 recommendations. Setup. Provide an introduction prior to displaying the visual aid. This will engage your listeners' attention, heighten their anticipation, and also provide context to what is coming. For a complex visual, direct your listeners' focus by explaining where they should look before you display it. Pause. Pause when you first reveal your visual. This gives your listeners time to become familiar with the visual and make a connection. You may look at the visual in silence to help direct them. If you begin speaking as soon as you show a visual, you will compete with your own material. Your listeners will be busy trying to understand the slide and will not pay attention to you or your message. Connect. Once your listeners have had time to look at the visual, connect with a set of eyes before you begin speaking. When you need to look at the visual, pause to gather the information you need. Avoid speaking until you connect with someone's eyes. Takeaway. What do you want your listener to remember? After you have given your listeners time to absorb the visual, provide a clear takeaway. This will help your listeners stay focused and easily recall the information. Blank it out. This is going to be worth your time listening to this video. When your visual aid no longer supports your message, direct your listeners' attention back to you and your message by blanking it out. In PowerPoint's slideshow mode, PC users simply press the B key. Mac users should use the Shift key plus the question mark key. When using handouts, ask your listeners to move their handout off to the side when you're done referring to it. This technique is critical when you're closing the conversation with action steps. Your listeners won't miss a beat and will be more likely to take action. Before your next presentation, sales call, meeting, face-to-face or virtual conversation, practice with your visual aids. Ask a peer or coworker to watch you practice delivering your message with your visual aids. Ask them to interactively coach you, bringing to your attention when you violate these 5 recommendations. Practice in front of a mirror. As you're interacting with these support materials, only speak when you see yourself in the mirror. This will give you immediate feedback about when you tend to speak. Are you speaking while looking at the visual aid or when you connect with the listener's eyes? It's critical that your visual aids don't become a victim of a speaker's most common mistake, losing sight of their message objective. The next time you interact with visual aids, ask yourself, what's the purpose for each visual and what you want your listeners to take away so that they will be influenced by you to take action. Until next time, I wish you continued success.